I had time to think about this because at first I agreed with people. I was like, yeah, I definitely don't like your character right now. But then I got more to thinking that that's really the point of the corruption arc, is that you aren't supposed to like her character at all. This might land me in a hot pot of water, but I don't think Ellie's corruption arc was that bad. A lot of people say that she overdid it, like it was overdone, but that's the point, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. Let me explain what I mean. With a corruption arc, you are not going to be satisfied with what the character is doing. You're not going to be able to justify what the character is doing. That's the whole point. Ellie is this lovable character in season 1, right? We love her, she's funny, she's just a little teenage girl who has way too much sass, right? But slowly you watch her change in a bad way, and you are not going to like that. But that's the point. That's why it's called a corruption arc. No one likes corruption, but that's the point. This show's entire motif, theme over everything is, what would you do for love, right? The writer said that themselves. What would you do for love? And it's such a morally gray area, right? Because we support Ellie, but to what extent? And that is what the show is questioning. To what extent do we support Ellie's obsession with revenge, right? To what extent? It's the same thing with Joel. To what extent do we support Joel's love and protection for Ellie? Do we think that Joel made the right choice by rescuing her from that hospital? And that is something that a lot of people don't know how to answer. And this is the same way. We don't know how to answer Ellie's corruption arc, because on one hand, we know that we want to get justice for Joel, the same way Ellie wants to get justice for Joel. But on the other hand, Ellie is not being as good as we thought she would. She's not being better than these people. Watching the final episode, you're like, why is she abandoning Jesse? Why is she abandoning Tommy, Dina, and just going out of her way to put herself in danger? And it's that makes the corruption arc so good, because we're watching this character we've loved the entire show destroy themselves in the process and complain and change into someone that we don't know who they are anymore. And I can admit it was a little much for me to watch, but I think that's the point that people miss, is that this is what a corruption arc is supposed to be. You're watching Ellie choose the aquarium over her friends, and you're sitting there and you're like, what is she doing? But to her it makes sense, and that's the point. The point is it makes sense to her. And I know people are like, oh my god, they overdid it. And I can understand that from an audience member's perspective, is that they overdid it because you're watching Ellie turn into this completely unlikable character. But that's the point. And that's the point of a corruption arc, is for you not to like the character anymore.